Have you ever thought about combining Dungeons & Dragons and LEGO? LEGO's new set, The Red Dragon Tale, a collaboration with Dungeons & Dragons for the 50th anniversary, is just about to release. You may or may not know that this set was actually a fan design set using the LEGO Ideas Designer Program. They ran a contest several months ago in collaboration with D&D, and this set was the winner. I actually entered that contest. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but I'm still very excited about this new set, and I'm excited to tell you all how I've been using LEGO in my own D&D game. So I've been DMing a 5th edition campaign for about 4.5 years now, and since the beginning I've been using LEGOs for all of our battle maps and our minis. And I wanted to go over some of the pros and cons of using LEGO in your D&D games. For starters, using LEGO minifigs as D&D minis offers you tons of customization options when designing your character. Here's a collection of minis I've built as NPCs or PCs in my campaign. We've got elves, dwarves, dragonborn, some humans, and even a genasi, which you can see I've done some custom painting on, as well as some other custom pieces out of paper or stickers. That kobold head is a piece that I modified myself and then painted. If you're someone who likes painting miniatures, then you can apply that skill here to make some really cool custom LEGO minis. Another little fun aspect is weapons and armor. If you've got a good collection of these accessories, then when your players find new loot, you could actually swap out the weapons and the armor they're using, or change the clothes on their mini. And all of that just helps the players feel like their mini evolves with their character. As their character grows and changes, so does the mini. They got a new piece of armor, their mini got a new piece of armor. They got a new cool weapon, the mini's holding that new cool weapon. LEGO bricks also lend themselves very well to designing modular terrain for battle maps. The way that I go about making my battle maps is that I take a base plate like this and a Sharpie, and I grid this out like this. Each of these squares represents 5 feet of movement. And if you use these minifig plates that come with all of the CMF figures as a base for your D&D mini, it fits almost perfectly within that 5-foot movement square on one of these base plates. Now I know what you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, you drew on your LEGO with Sharpie. But listen, it's really not that big of a deal. I have a bunch of these plates that I keep around specifically for building battle maps. I keep them lined, and I'm not really planning to use them for anything else. But even if I do, you can get Sharpie off of these with some rubbing alcohol, a Q-tip, and a little bit of elbow grease. If you want a less permanent solution, you could always take some colored masking tape and cut really, really thin strips like this, and then just lay the tape in between the studs on your plate, just like that, and you can form the same grid that's fully removable. Or you don't have to grid your plates out at all. You could whip up something like this, a handy movement ruler. It'll measure 5, 10, all the way to 40 feet, and it's really easy and simple to build. It doesn't matter what color it is, it doesn't matter if all the pieces match, as long as you can easily tell where one brick ends and the next one starts, you can really quickly see your movement distances. Now as for terrain, your options are pretty much limited. It's Legos after all. If you've got a few of these elements lying around, it's pretty easy to whip up a simple tree. You can do rocks and other scattered terrain easily out of gray bricks, and you've also got these pre-molded pieces to work with that make rock work really easy, or a cliff, or a cave wall, whatever you're looking for. For example, let's start by building a simple tavern map. I'll add a door here, and then I'll build up the walls using some gray bricks. This fireplace I made for a map a little while back that I used in my campaign, and I think it'll make a nice centerpiece for this tavern. I'm just building up the walls with some gray bricks. I like to keep them low, only about 2 bricks high. That way the players know where the walls are, but they don't get in the way of moving the minis around. I like to build up the corners like I'm doing here, kind of jagged, to give these interior builds the appearance of a stylized cutaway. In this corner I'm going to add some stairs that could lead to rooms up top of the tavern. We'll add a bar over here and some barrels and make some tables out of some brown plates. Adding in some chairs and some cups, we can then pop in our minis and our map is done. An exterior build is even easier because you don't have to worry about walls, just scatter terrain. For starters here, I'm going to take a few simple trees and just place them around the edges of the map to give the appearance that we're in a forest. One tree technique I like to use is take these bricks with 4 studs on the side and wrap them in plates. Then you can attach branches using some illegal building techniques between the studs and make a tall tree really fast. I'll attach an inverted slope and some side stud bricks to this pre-molded rock piece in order to make a boulder that I can lay on the ground, and another little rock I'll just throw next to it for fun. Next, I'm just going to add a shrub and maybe a fallen log for a little extra detail before I get on to the tent. This is a tent that I cut out of paper. There's holes punched in the bottom the same size as a stud so that I can attach it to some bricks and then add a base plate. An older Indiana Jones set came with a fabric tent that looked like this, so I took that piece and I traced it onto paper so that I could make multiple. We'll finish off this campsite by adding a fire, and then we can grab our minis and place the party around the campfire to tell some stories and prepare to take a long rest. At least until they get ambushed by this pack of gnolls. If you find yourself running low on bricks and you're trying to make a very cool epic map, you don't have to limit yourself to only using LEGO. One of the coolest maps I've made was a giant white dragon's lair, and I wanted to have tiered cliffs leading from the entrance all the way up to the dragon's hoard. But I really didn't have the volume of gray LEGO bricks that I needed to make that much rock work. So I just took some cardboard boxes, spray painted them gray, and then set the base plates on top of them. I did a little rock work to kind of hide the transitions, and it ended up looking really cool. My personal favorite thing about using my LEGO collection to run my D&D campaign is getting to build all of the monsters that I'm going to throw at my players out of LEGO. Take this simple mimic. We'll start with a chest, this newer mold with a flat top, and then we'll take these side stud bricks that are 2x2, and we'll place them on top of the brick studs. We'll lock it in place with a tile and some cheese slopes on the back, and then we'll place a tooth, a clip, a tooth, and another tooth. Into the clip, we'll put this pink horn to be a tongue, and then put eyes on top of all of those exposed studs. And the whole mimic face pops off easily, so you can pretend it's a regular chest. Now let's build one of those gnolls. We'll take a light gray snot brick with studs on all 4 sides, and we'll add 2 light gray studs with a center pin on opposite sides for the arms to attach. We'll add a single stud to be the waist, and note that we want the open stud on the bottom of the snot brick to be pointing back. Put a plate there to be his back, and a flat tile on the front to be his chest. Another snot brick will be his hips, and then we'll attach the head. This one comes from a Chima set. To make the arms, we're going to take some gray minifig legs and pull off the waist piece. We're only using the legs. Big hand fits in that waist socket. That'll attach to the shoulders. And then I'm using these clips with a bar to be the gnoll's hands. For the legs, we're going to use a few more illegal techniques, but we'll start with a cheese slope and a stud to be each foot. Then we're going to take a light gray plate with a clip, and we're going to insert that clip into the ring of one of the plates that has the full ring clip. I use this trick a lot to make animal legs, or anything that walks on its toes like a cat or a dog, where it looks like the knee is facing backwards. Then I'll finish off with 2 dark tan tiles on the front and back to make a little loincloth, and that will complete our gnoll. To attach him to a stand, I'm going to take a translucent stud with a peg and insert it in the open stud in the bottom of the little waist piece. I should have done this before I put the legs on, which is why I had to take them back off. Then, once I put his bottom side back together, I'll just build up some translucent bricks or studs until it reaches the stand, and give him his little axe. And now for the cons. Really, the biggest con to using Legos to run a D&D campaign is the price. It's no secret, Legos are not cheap. So you will easily spend just as much, if not more, buying Lego pieces and Lego minis to start a campaign from scratch as you would buying officially licensed miniatures. I think this method is really best viable if you already have a decent sized Lego collection or know someone in your game who has a decent sized collection. If you have the Legos available, it's easy to take things apart and rebuild them to your needs. That's the benefit of it. You don't necessarily have to find storage space for all of this terrain and buildings and dungeon modules that you've built. When you're done with them, you can just take them apart and repurpose them for your next session. But if you're trying to build it all up from scratch, it's definitely going to be very, very pricey. You can take advantage of resources like Bricklink, buying Lego secondhand, or the pick-a-brick walls at your Lego stores to get a good collection of simple bricks that you can use to build things like dungeon walls. These bricks, for example, 2x1s with the little brick texture on them, were at a pick-a-brick wall at my local Lego store not too long ago, so I grabbed a whole large cup full of them, which is about 17 bucks, I think. And using those, I'll be able to build lots of very simple walls to line dungeons or make some castle ruins or whatever I need. Now, I understand that this approach probably isn't for everyone, but if you're someone who loves Lego like me and also loves tabletop role-playing games, consider giving it a try. It's been a lot of fun for my campaign, building all of the monsters and designing cool battle maps. My players always get so excited when I bring up a cool Lego creation and pop it down on the table. When I started this campaign, I posted the first few battle maps on my Flickr account. I'm not really active there anymore, but I'll drop a link down below if you want to take a look at some of the adventures my party went on in their early days. So if you decide to give Legos a try in your game, or if you want to see me make more videos like this, maybe doing some builds of creatures or making maps that I'm going to use in my campaign, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.